I think it's now the time to conclude this challenge with the final mission. And currently it's week 81, so the original time limit of Stygian was 86 weeks, so if I'll be able to finish the final mission, then I'm gonna beat the Stygian time limit. And from my experience, you can do all the bosses in the base regions, the Thing, the Fanatic, and even the Courtyard and Farmstead, along with Darkest Dungeon, within 100 week time limit. If you exclusively go for medium missions. Sometimes you can go for long missions, and that's gonna help super a lot, because you'll fill up the bar stat much faster, and you'll be able to get everything that you need. Plus, medium and long missions are rich in resources, so you'll be able to build up your town real quick and improve your heroes. Anyways, Hell is in the Heart. Our goal is to kill Heart of Darkness, the win condition of Stygian, and Blood Moon difficulty. So actually, it's also win condition for this challenge. And who are we bringing as well? Baldwin, of course. And we're gonna bring Reynauld, and Boudica, and finally Barristan. These are the final people that are gonna go for the Never Again torch. And this challenge. What do I have here? I know, what's the point of stressing and stuff, actually? I'm just gonna go cure the diseases. Oh, there, Junia. I don't want these diseases. Any quirks that I can manage, just for shits and giggles. Because, you know, I like managing my town. Okay, cool. And nothing here. Okay, let me see if I have everything upgraded. Yup. Aha! Finally using Cut after so long. Reynauld is fine, and Baldwin is mega prepared. We don't need camp skills because there is no camping. Any crystalline trinkets? No, actually, I don't think I need. Don't think I need anything here. What does Crusader's trinket do? Oh damn, it's expensive, I cannot afford it. Yeah, I'm gonna use something else for Para. Well, let's see, what do I have in my notes? Baldwin is gonna wear Ancestor's Pen and surgical gloves to get a bunch of grit. Reynauld, I haven't bought this one. Oh, Calendar's orders. Then you would do Ancestor's Scroll. So that'd be my main hero. Then Barristan, I think Mirror Shield is gonna work here. And we could do Flesh Hunt? We're gonna guard someone? Yeah, I think. We're gonna punch Barristan and he's gonna reflect some damage. And now Para. I'm gonna use Prophet's Eye. And Aria Box! That I've been saying that it's kind of meh. Now it's gonna get used. So we'll see how this works out. think this can work. Okay, let's check out these skills then. We can use Bulwark to get some plot. And then we're gonna do a bunch of healing. Barristan is gonna do this, maybe. And now Para. Yeah, we'll just blast. And judging by the skills, I think some of you may know what I'm gonna do here. If the Darkest Dungeon quest is abandoned, not all heroes are guaranteed to survive. Someone must sacrifice themselves to hold up the fiends during retreat. This is actually a lie. You cannot retreat from the final Darkest Dungeon quest, which I find super weird. Because, well, they're saying that you can retreat, but no, you cannot. And now, what am I purchasing here? Well, Mighty Venom, bandages, herbs, holy water. Even though I have Para in my team, I want to be prepared. Then a bunch of Aegis cases, because this is the end game. So we're gonna win, hopefully. And now, I'm finally purchasing Shark Dust. Or how much did I pay for it? Oh, it's up there. That's funny. And what? Huh. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 shards. Okay. Good. Oh. So, for God's kills. That would have been awkward. Okay, Baldwin is ready, that's all that matters. And once we press this button, there's no coming back. You haven't purchased much food for your... for some reason. Okay, I guess we're gonna get 8 food, even though it's gonna be completely pointless. Just 3 thoughts, that's all you need. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I turned off the speed mod, so we're gonna enjoy this in the slow as Darkest Dungeon glory. And now we're in space. Just nothing but space. And there's Ancestor, what is he doing here? A ghostly premonition presents itself. Is it really him? Listen.
In all my terrible researches, what I sought was a glimpse behind the veil, a crumb of cosmic truth. I found it here, and in that moment of brain-blasting realization, I ceased to be a man, and became a herald, an avatar of the crawling chaos.
Well, okay. You just keep walking into space. And there's him again. What's he got to say?
Life feeds on life. In your petty pursuit of family redemption, you consume those who rally to your cause, and in so doing, you strengthen the thing, accelerating the end. This is as it should be. It is why you are here.
Okay, now this space right here, it's a very special space. Because if you press up here, oh, W, look at this! Secret room! Was collected here? There's a letter. And you know, I've been ignoring the journal pages this entire playthrough, but this is the only one I bother getting. And that's because it's a strange note written on bloody human flesh. You examine the ragged piece of flesh. It reeks of sweat and tears. A series of crude gouges in the skin pulsate and seep blood. They seem to form a pattern. You can just make out the following. We at Red Hook Games are deeply grateful for your support and your time spent in the darkest dungeon. Good luck in the coming battle. So yeah, this is the letter from the developers of the game. I'm gonna take it. And continue into this room. And Esther is here again.
We are chained here forever, you and I, at the end of the world. Free yourself, rouse the thing, and embrace the ineffable cosmic hideousness that lives within us all.
No, we're not gonna join your dark side. We're gonna kill the heart and take the safe file with us. There it is. It's pounding. Let's go, says Para.
You still foolishly consider yourself an entity separate from the whole. I know better. And I will show you.
Ancestor! He's eldritch human with only 5 HP. But then again, he's got 80% rot. Can be hidden? Well, no, he's kind of hidden. But he's going to summon his clones. And they're kind of like Shambles tentacles where they're in trouble. So we're gonna use Baldwin to hit these dudes with the help of Para's emboldening vapors, because these last the entire combat. And since this is the final boss, this is perfect. Because it's naturally long. Good. And phew. Nice. Take no corpse. I'm gonna guard. Guard. Let's guard Para so she doesn't get bullied. Getting lucky with the dodges. Take that, you stinker. Can I heal them? I don't think I can. Oh, that's fine. Now we're gonna use Shark Dust to refresh this button. The buff that she gets is +2 speed for 1 battle, +15 damage for 1 battle, and downside is minus virtue chance and plus stress. So, yeah. That's how Shark Dust works. I don't know if... Oh, this is important. This is Ancestor's weak spot. There we go. I'm gonna get rid of him. And let's see if I can stop this dude. Nope. Can I heal now? Well, I got a crit. Fuck before sunrise. Ah. You got hurt. Really? You healed here? That's weird. There we go, finally hit. And what's also unique about this fight is that you don't get the skills shown. So you cannot remind yourself of what kind of attacks these guys have. There's only one guy. And I'm gonna kill him with Baldwin. Yo. All the leper fans rejoice as their king marches forward. Okay, I'm gonna use Shark Dust again. plus 15 damage for 10 rounds. I gotta mark that real quick. And plus 2 speed, also for 10 rounds. And more stress! Oi oi oi! Yeah, you can see why I brought Arya Box for this. This is gonna be very painful. Painful for Para, I mean. I'm sure. Can I find you? There we go. That's how I like it. Oh, that was nice. Nice one. Para's gonna sit here and brew some potions for Baldwin. And Baldwin's gonna chop these enemies to death. And we're just casually dodging because why not? I believe in you. Well, this guy is not dead, so I'm gonna leave that to Reynauld, I guess. Yeah, this is much harsher. I'm still gonna pump Baldwin. Yep. Nope. You stay there, sir. This is not allowed. Be gone. Nope. Not allowed. And you take some damage as well. Take that. Cool, cool. Ancestor has 1 HP remaining. Yeah, still got Anna. You don't want her to get too much stressed. There we go. Just you one. You got plenty of damage. We'll short this again. The minus debuff is gonna end at some point. I think it's after 3 uses. And here's an interesting fact. It says it lasts until the quest. But somehow it's programmed in such a way that it disappears after the camp. Don't know why. They just somehow deprogrammed it like that. And I find it so funny because it's only been discovered recently. Okay, I don't wanna Para to get afflicted or something. Hey, dude! Do you know how much damage I had? Usually I'd be dead. Okay, I'm gonna keep 2 shard dust until the very end. Because that 10 round damage might help. Yeah, I don't do this. Probably could have used Para for this, but eh. We still haven't managed to spawn the last imperfect reflection. Let's go in, I guess. If that mirror shield, which might do some damage. There we go, there's it. There it is. Now that I don't have riposte, screw you. Screw you, sir. I'm gonna heal Para. And both of you are gonna die. So now it's just Ancestor himself. Oh. Shit. He's just sitting there with 0 HP.
flesh is fluid. It can be changed, reshaped, remade.
Absolute nothingness is, well, nothingness. It's empty space. Which is supposed to be like... Ancestry is basically gonna shuffle around these, and that's how we get a chance to hit him, because this team has no reach. The only kind of reach we have is Paras. Yeah, Paras, this is raining blast. Damn. Here you go for Baldwin. There we go. He's got 0 movement, so it should be very easy to move him. This moves. I'm just gonna do this. Fuck it. We might even stop him. There we go. Take this! Half of HP gone. Well, I'm just gonna result in Baldwin. These are just support. Cool. Baldwin should be super fast on this. Hey, he didn't crit. That's unfortunate. Take this, I guess.
The flesh is immortal. It is undying. Pray it does not take too hideous a form.
Here we're gonna use the final shard dust in order to power up Baldwin. The heart, if you hit it, it's gonna slightly heal you, but also blight you. Not like that. Okay, Shard dust on Baldwin because I want to use revenge second time. And and one for Para. We're gonna have to wait for 1 round because Para hasn't used her second papers. Second ancestors here. Okay. Wait. On your command. Okay, I screwed something up. Oh, no. It's fine. It's completely fine. Crit. Was hoping for a crit. Okay, now we're gonna guard. We're just gonna wait. Oh! I thought I timed it correctly. Oh no. I'm not ready. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. I miscalculated. Okay, well, we have to sit here for a while because I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Did not manage to stun it. Ah, damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Now you do this.
Behold the heart of the world, progenitor of life, father and mother, alpha and omega, our creator and our destroyer.
This is Heart of Darkness, the final boss of this game. And if Heart of Darkness gets above a certain amount of HP, we have to choose one hero from our party. And once we choose someone, they die. Instantly. With no death blow check whatsoever. The only way you can prevent of doing so is if you one-shot Heart of Darkness. And I still need to prepare myself because I goofed up badly. I'm gonna try to stun it. No such luck. Oh, I'm holding this. As long as... oof. As long as Barristan doesn't get targeted, we should be fine. And this sucks. Still wait. You did that crit, sir. And we're waiting the stuns. Oof. That's not good. I can only use it 3 times. Checking my notes. 24. Okay, I think we can guard now and try to finish this. Okay, that's just first, that's fine. Okay! Yeah, I wasted that 10 rounds, that's kind of unfortunate. But here's the final results for our final attack. 71 to 142 damage, 67 crit. If I crit, this should kill Heart of Darkness. But if not, someone has to die. Get this Baldwin, who was recruited on week 2, one-shot Heart of Darkness, and save his friends. On the 3. 1, 2, 3. Saved!
Victory. A hollow and ridiculous notion. We are born of this thing, made from it, and we will be returned to it in time. The great family of man. A profusion of errant flesh, multiplying, swarming, living, dying, until the stars align in their inexorable formation, and what sleeps is roused once more, to hatch from this fragile shell of earth and rock and bring our inescapable end. So seek solace in a manner befitting your lineage, and take up your nugatory vigil, haunted forever by that sickening prose echoing through the infinite blackness of space and time. Ruin has come to our family.
This was quite an adventure. let's go back to our save file while I sort some stuff.
Trouble yourself not with the cost of this crusade. Its noble end affords you broad tolerance in your choice of means.
Reynauld! You get the Never Again torch. Baldwin! The king! Gets the Never Again torch. Barristan gets the Never Again torch. And finally Para. The one class that I've been ignoring for so long finally gets what she deserves. And this is the Nuzlocke run. We've got 2 heroes left that haven't visited the Darkest Dungeon. And that's Amani and Margaret. Those are my 2 spare heroes. And to be fair, I had 3 heroes die, which if I didn't go for the Darkest Dungeon right away, then I would not have enough heroes to do this whole challenge. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over my entire activity log while I think of some final thoughts about this whole challenge. I personally love the Nuzlocke challenge because it forces you to work with every class in the game. There isn't any kind of meta, you simply work with what you are given. You know those tier lists where you get to see the best and worst heroes? Well, now that doesn't matter anymore because you have to work with everyone and you only get one of each, so if anybody dies, you lose that class for good. You also cannot use the best heroes over and over again because of diseases and bad quirks that you have no choice but to fix in Sanitarium. One of the scariest parts about this challenge is leveling up heroes. Without mods, you don't get every hero right away, so if someone joins later in the run where everyone is at level 1 and some even level 2, they have to quickly catch up so they don't get left behind. Then it's the matter of upgrades. I had no problem at all with the guild, but the blacksmith was like the moon from Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. It was slowly creeping in, and I just dreaded of the moment when I had to get to level 3 and level 5 weapons and armor. In this file, I wasn't able to get the final cost reduction upgrades simply because blacksmith takes a lot of deeds and I needed those for my roster size as well. When it comes to gold economy, I was quite surprised that I managed to have enough of it for some of the most major upgrades like the level 3s and level 5s. But then again, I had to spam antiquary runs when I finally reached champion missions. I couldn't even rush the bank in this file. My first district was granary at week 19, which was one of my few ways of gaining gold. The other one was cost reduction upgrades and only upgrading skills that I really needed. It takes a lot of experience to learn what skills are okay to leave at level 1. And now comes my favorite part, and that is discussing each individual hero. I'll try to keep it short and simple because there's 18 heroes that we are gonna talk about. Dismas is my first hero in this list, and honestly, he was pretty straightforward to play. I didn't bother experimenting with him in any way. I simply played him with the same 4 skills that I usually use, and he did a good job. I used him for Darkest Dungeon 2, and honestly he could go anywhere, but this was the dungeon where I needed someone, so I picked him. I also wanna share some highlights for the heroes, and this one's got a lot of bad quirks at the start of the file. Mainly Fear of Beasts and Fear of Eldritch, which screwed me up really hard, so that was fun erasing those during the whole game. The only quirks that he kept from his start was quick reflexes and non-cheat. Reynauld was very useful to me, he was very versatile. He started out as a crappy healer, but a decent stress healer, and then I used him a lot as the main healer with the right trinkets. Sometimes I tried his tanking abilities, but I often did that in Reynauld, which was kind of punishing me for even having fun. I guess Reynauld got too many roles there, but I honestly cannot tell. Obviously, I needed him for the final dungeon as my main healer and stress healer. My favorite moment with him was when he randomly virtued in Endless Harvest and trying to carry his team to the first boss after Sleeper. From his start, he kept Warrior of Light and God-fearing. Junia, often considered as a heal bot. I tried using her for other stuff than just healing, and while stunning is what she usually does, I sometimes equipped Illumination for Varens specifically, where I wanted to de-stub the hook picks. I also equipped Mace Bash, just in case, but I couldn't really build a Bonk Vestal team, because the teams I built had too many frontliners. She got Hippocratic early on, which made me not using that many healing trinkets on her, and I found that very useful. I figured I would need her the most in DD2, so that's where I used her. Now, her start was pretty weak, and her nymphomania slowly developed into love interest. In my headcanon, she fell in love with Bigby, don't question it. But was also a pretty good hero. She had a strong potential with Twilight Dreamer as her starting quirk, and it did get used in Warens and Wield. I sadly did not get to enjoy it in Amani's Nightmares, where she could have used it as well. I only used her for a couple of boss fights, but then I completely left her sitting in the roster at the end of the file until the final dungeon, because I was so scared of losing her and losing the chance of one-shotting Heart of Darkness. At the start of the run, she got a lot of weird and not so helpful quirks locked, so she had to spend some extra weeks in Sanitarium. The only highlight that I can recall with her was when she started using Incision on snakes in Amani's Nightmare. Baldwin was my first hero that I got outside of Red Hook. Those are the 4 original heroes that you start with. And yeah, all this time I knew that I wanted to keep him for the final mission. Until then, I liked using him as a tank with Withstand in Wield and Intimidate in Ruins. I also liked using you. Other than that, what can I say about the guy with low accuracy? His start was also pretty interesting. He got Kleptomaniac, so that was already second Kleptomaniac in my starting roster. But then he got Gifted and Natural. Gifted is what he kept, and Natural was used until the very last second where he lost it after reaching level 3. The highlight of Baldwin? The entire dungeon where he had to fight against Thing from the Stars. The amount of bad luck that I got there was pretty hilarious. Tardif, aka Dead Jerk. I like Tardif, but man, this guy. When he dealt damage and controlled the field, it was all fun. It was all good. But that stupid Perfectionist early on was not. And then in Baron's dungeon he almost got afflicted because of the lock negative quirk that gave him extra stress when at low HP. Luckily he managed to clear the dungeon in one go, but then in Darkest Dungeon 3 he got afflicted and got irrational and it all sucked, and yeah, it was my fault. But I couldn't help but to yell at this guy. What was kept from his start was Clauder because I honestly didn't know what else to lock in. He didn't manage to get any interesting quirks in my opinion. While Margaret was a copy of Missandei, I was kind of hoping she would be different with her quirks and trinkets that I got, and in the end, it turned out just like that. She got Unholy Slayer during apprentice runs, and that was very good against Prophet and Ghouls. She was more of an offensive sniper, and she did much better job at that than Missandei. I didn't use her for any Darkest Dungeon mission, and that's because I was keeping her just in case Reynauld would die. I thought I would use her for Darkest Dungeon 1, but then I decided for Josephine instead. Her start was kind of bad. She didn't have any good quirk that would help me at the start, and she got bad heal, which was super annoying. For the highlight, I think defeated Champion Shaman was the best moment of hers. Willam Fergus, another kleptomaniac in my starting roster. Good start. I feel like his Precise Striker did not want to leave his quirk list. Anyways, I loved using him in Courtyard. He's arguably the most valuable member there. Outside of Courtyard, I liked using him as a sniper with situational mark that was used exclusively for fat prot enemies like ghouls and whatnot. He was also a very good stress healer. Now, I really needed him for Darkest Dungeon 2, because aside from Barristan, he's the only person that can guard someone else. Now for his highlights, I really found it funny that in Viscount's dungeon, he was the only person that managed to go through there alive without Crimson Curse, and then getting a disease afterwards. And then getting bloodthirsty locked in Varens. That one was also hilarious. Something tells me that Fergus was the bloodthirsty one. Amani, often called a pay-to-win DLC. I honestly don't see her like that. If anything, her Asia skills were the paid DLC because I used some of them when I fell in deep trouble. I've had no problems with her nightmares, but she didn't get them at every campfire, which I found it kind of inconvenient. Weald Adventurer certainly gave me a reason to use her in Weald a lot. I didn't use her in any Darkest Dungeon mission, and that's because I thought using her in Farmstead and in the fight against Garden Guardian were already enough of making her useful. From the start, she only kept Witness and later developed Unquiet Mind, so she really didn't trust Abby at all. For a highlight, I'm going to pick my attempt at defeating Darkest Crocodilian on the same week as Countess. It was super close, yet so far, and I was at a big disadvantage. Bigby! My super fangirl sense aside, Bigby was a hero that helped me learning how the entire game works, so I was more than pleased to use him in my teams. I was able to use all his skills effectively, not just his human side, but also beast side. He actually transformed way more often starting from veteran, and at champion he pretty much mastered his beast side. I think what helped him the most was his starting quirk, Hot to Trot. It simply supported both of his sides very well. He also started with Germophone, which made me thinking that it may be tied to his backstory, because in some of his dialogue he mentions that he worked as an alchemist or some kind of scientist. Since his left arm seems to be the most infected by the Eldritch blood, this might explain why he was scared of any kind of infection. I picked Bigby for Darkest Dungeon 3, since that's where I like using Abomination the most. I actually have way harder time picking a highlight of this character more than any other, you might guess why. But at one time I randomly got Padlock of Transference, and Protective Padlock during Champion Necromancer mission was hilarious, and something tells me the game knows my tastes. Damian, hoo boy. Damian was a hero I knew for sure I would use the most as my main healer. His healing skills were somewhat weak early on, but then he became a god where no matter what happened to him, he was able to either soak up the damage or just dodge for no reason. And then he died to Ruined Skull Coils. How did that even happen? I knew I was running a risk of him being at low HP, but he received way more damage than I anticipated. And then he just failed the first death blow check. Not even the locked unyielding helped him surviving this. I was so devastated by the loss that I couldn't even sleep that night because I wanted to break him to Fanatic. Thankfully he managed to clear Darkest Dungeon 3 way before that accident happened, so there was still some hope there. From the start he kept Natural Swing and Flawed Release, both quirks which were great to keep. My favorite moment of his was probably that one time he got critted so many times during a random encounter with Bloodsuckers in Varens, and yet still not dying nor afflicting. Josephine, the hero with the worst stats! She was actually way more useful than you could imagine. First of all, she printed a lot of money for my champion upgrades once everyone reached level 5. You'd think that after I got Bank and my economy going that I would stop using her, but nope. She participated in the first Darkest Dungeon mission and 2 champion bosses. I love how she started out with really not impressive quirks and somehow developed into this scary support unit. I feel like she was planning this approach all along. For a highlight, I still find it amusing that she managed to produce blood at the campfire that one time in Ruins. Audrey was a hero that I knew I had to try super hard with, because during my first Nuzlocke run, she didn't even reach level 3. She started out with Eldritch Slayer, which was pretty good, but she also started with Pangophobia, which was really screwing up her stress early on. I tried using her whenever I could in the champion missions, but even then I felt like I was simply forcing myself into using her. I'm not really that comfortable using her. I wanted to bring her specifically for Darkest Dungeon 1, simply because her shovel provision is the worst thing she brings into these missions, and Darkest Dungeon 1 is the one with the most spare inventory space. The best moment of hers that I can remember was curing a crap ton of diseases from Baldwin and Josephine with her snuff box. That saved me some time and money there. Sarmenti, aka Battle Ballad Bot. I actually don't use him as a ballad bot, but rather I play him as an offensive unit with some stress healing. I only used Battle Ballad for the boss fights. You can tell that I love Finale way too much when I try to pull it off at every single fight. I really valued him in the first Darkest Dungeon mission, simply because Solo gets a lot of great use there. My favorite moment? Every time I tried using Finale on a boss. Prophet? One time he failed to kill him with Finale, but then the next time he got his revenge. Necromancer? Audrey was ruining his position. Against Think from the Stars? 5 damage no crit. It was hilarious every single time. Alhazred. My personal hatred aside, I was surprised I used Damon's Pole a lot. You know, everyone praises him for being quote-unquote the best stunner in the game, yet his heal is arguably the worst one in the entire game. If you want a direct comparison, level 5 Weird Reconstruction has 21.7% chance of healing less than Crusader's battle heal. Granted, I used Crusader with healing trinkets whenever I aimed for a main healer, but Weird still feels bad when it low rolls. And in tough situations like Shambler, you really don't want to see low numbers. But Damon's Pool really offered a lot in the teams that I was building. It first disrupted some of the position-dependent enemies and brought those targets for Leper and whatnot. From his start, he kept Early Riser, and the Dark Temptations came back after I removed it. He's an occultist. What do you want from him? I guess he became a tippler thanks to my never-ending Alhazred! For his best moment? Well, the fight against Fnatic. His ending was quite emotional, and considering the relationship I had with him, this tells a lot. Missandei, she was more of a support than a sniper, unlike Margaret. She didn't start off great, but then she got Hard Noggin, which was good against Swine Boss. She was always meant for Darkest Dungeon 3 because her accuracy was super valuable there. Her bandage provision was only useful for Damian in case he accidentally bled himself. I still feel guilty of her death, but hey, I never claimed to be perfect at this game. And I already said before that learning how to cope with death is a valuable lesson that this game teaches. Another reason why I love Nuzlocke is just how you get attached to these heroes since you only get one of each. Everyone feels unique and irreplaceable. On a brighter note, I liked watching Missandei grow into a really good healer. It reminds me of my very first Arbalest that I trained up to level 6. Barristan, an old man who almost died an apprentice. God, I hate spiders. Why do they even exist? Even if I completed this game at least 6 times, I still need to figure out how to do Wolf's mission without man-at-arms and without losses. I will not be fully satisfied with my playstyle until I figure out every possibility in this game. It's my personal joy that I get, just knowing what are my options and how to use them properly. Outside of Wolf's mission, Barristan saw a great use in Baron's and Countess's dungeon. I did both of those in 1 week, with a unit that gets stronger during boss fights exclusively. Man-at-arms is an interesting class. From what I have seen, some people are just not a fan of commanders. Me personally, I respect Man-at-arms. He may be difficult to play, but when he's used correctly, everything just feels awesome. Also, Barristan, please use your shield for your own protection as well, because getting that syphilis in the brothel was really ridiculous. Boudica was the final hero to join my roster, so she, along with Barristan, needed to catch up with my other level 1s and 2s. She was mostly a damage dealer with reach, and while I'm not a fan of using her other buttons, I try my best to use her for other things. She was extremely valuable in Darkest Dungeon 2, thanks to her bleed out and her personal district. From the start she kept natural swing, which certainly helped a lot. Early on, her Dark Temptations managed to get and lock in bloodthirsty environments, which was super flavorful for her. Finally, she was the only hero in my roster that managed to get Crimson Curse 3 times throughout the whole campaign. That alone should tell you how bloodthirsty she was, not only in her story, but also in this challenge. And now, what about my final score? I managed to keep 15 heroes alive out of 18, so in total that's 45 points for heroes alive. Then for the region bosses I defeated 6 of them, and in total that's 18 points. For Crimson Core DLC I managed to gather 18 points. For Color of Madness I managed to get all the points available at 11. And now Collector, Chamber, and Shrieker, all of them defeated. All of them are worth 3 points. Then I defeated Wolf, and with the final Darkest Dungeon mission done, I managed to get all 16 points in Darkest Dungeon. And my final score is 121 points out of 137. Thanks so much for watching this series. Even just checking out various episodes and looking for the interesting moments. Please let me know in the comments how much you like this series. I especially gave a lot of effort into making the board, because from my experience nobody likes watching the grind that you sometimes have to do in this game. If you're super interested, I put a link in the description to a Google Disk file with all the icons that I used for the board with different icons, so you can do this kind of challenge at home, or just use the icons for general boss hunt. Most of the icons I used are already in the game files, but the ones like Collector, Shambler and Wolf are made by me, using the game files as well. As for my future plans, I want to take a small break from playthrough videos to focus on other projects. Mainly the best moments video of this whole challenge. I really want to make this video, and it has to be special because I really enjoyed this challenge. If you're interested in more Darkest Dungeon videos, then just let me know! I might do more entire Darkest Dungeon playthroughs in the future. I've got at least 2 challenges in my mind that I really want to try out. This game is quite time consuming, so I understand some people not wanting to go through the entire game again. But like I said, I've completed this game at least 6 times. It's one of my all-time favorites for a reason. If you're interested in my other socials, then definitely check out DeviantArt, Twitter, and my Ko-fi page if you wish to support me. Until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I see you next time.